Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer, thanks to Math Geek for this one. Amy and Nick both keep their opening hands. Before Amy starts her turn, Nick reveals a Leyline of Punishment and says that he'll start the game with that card in play. Amy's hand contains Nourishing Shoal and a green card. Is it possible for Amy to cast Nourishing Shoal in such a way that she gains life before Nick's Leyline of Punishment prevents her from doing so? Alright, so I really like this question because it's something I could definitely see coming up, and it's a part of the Magic rules that aren't super well known. So, in order to answer this, we need to know that in order to cast a spell, players need to have priority. Unfortunately for Amy, any game actions involving your opening hand take place before the first turn of the game, and therefore before either player gets priority. Therefore, it's not possible for either player to cast a spell before Nick's Leyline of Punishment is on the battlefield. Okay, so that was a really interesting question, but it kind of opens up the door for another interesting question, which is that, okay, we know that there's no way to respond to Leyline abilities by casting spells, but what about other Leyline abilities? What would happen if two players wanted to do one of those at the same time? Like, for example, if your opponent was going to have a Leyline of Sanctity in play, that might affect your decision of what card to exile for your Gemstone Caverns. Or, if you knew your opponent was going to have a Leyline of Singularity, that might affect how many Chancellor of the Forges you wanted to reveal. So in these types of situations, what would be the procedure for determining exactly how these play out? And, fortunately, there's a pretty straightforward rule that covers us in these types of cases. Timing and priority and the stack don't really exist before the game starts, so we have to use this rule in order to figure out how it'll work. If you have a player who wants to take some before the game actions like these, then the starting player is the one who has to take those actions first. They can take as many as they want in whatever order they want, and after they're done taking any number of them, then the next person in turn order will get their chance to do exactly the same thing. You can see that this has a couple of very important consequences. First of all, it means you only have one chance to do any of these types of game actions. You can't change your mind after saying you're done and seeing what your opponent does. You only have one shot, so you have to do all of the game actions that you want to at that point. That means that there is kind of a bias towards people who have the last turn, but I think that that's more than fair given the inherent disadvantage that that player is at. The other important consequence is that it's not possible to respond to these types of abilities. They all happen one at a time, and it's not even possible to be processing two of them at the same time. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again tomorrow for another daily ruling, but until then, I hope you have a great day.